Okay, we're going to talk about graphing, and we're going to talk a little bit about graphing some ordered pairs and finding some values of ordered pairs. So the first thing that we want to realize is if I've got a graph, what I've got is essentially two different number lines. I've got an x-axis. This is essentially a number line, and as with most number lines, to the right is my positive numbers, to the left is my negatives. So this point, kind of right here in the middle, is going to be our 0. Also, whenever we're graphing, by default, up is positive and down is negative. So I've got x to the left and right and y up and down. So if I were to, and any point I put out here, it doesn't matter where it is, we always list this point as the x value first and then the y value. So if I wanted to say something like graph 3, -2, what I would do is I would look here to this first value and I would count on this x-axis out 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go in the y direction, I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2. So this point right here is 3. It's 3 in the x and -2 in the y. I could do this again and say, oh, let's do -5 and 4. Okay, well, let's go to -5. So here, instead of going in the positive direction on the x, I'm going in the negative direction on the x. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the y direction, I'm going to be positive, so it's going up this time, and I'm going up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our point. This point is that -5, 4. This point right here is 3, -2. And sometimes it can be a little bit confusing if I've got a 0 in the mix. So if I say something like 0, -5, here on the x-axis, I'm not going either to the left or the right. It's staying right here on the x. But then it's going to be going down 5. So it'll be down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's that point right there. So this is our point 5. So this is our point of 0, -5. Where I could do something like, say I've got like 7, 0. Here, I will just be counting to the left. I'll just be counting to the right 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's not going up or down. So this point right here is 7, 0. So this is how we think about graphing points. And we could also, just as easily with this, we could just put a point somewhere and then count to where it is, sort of identify that point. So I could go over here and say, look at this point and say, oh, well, if I'm looking at that, that's going to be sort of drop an imaginary line to my x-axis and my y-axis. This right here is 5 on the x-axis. And dropping an imaginary line to my y-axis, this would be, looks like that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 on my y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how you can identify a point. Well, sometimes you're going to be given some questions where instead of just graphing a point, you might be given a point and then given some directions to figure out where the next points are. So here is an example. Now here we're given a right triangle. And I can say that point C is at, I'm going to say this is at 8, 2. Now, I am deliberately being a little bit obtuse here. This is not, in fact, at 8 and 2 here. This is just supposed to be a general thing. So if I say point C is at A and 2, 8, 2, that means, okay, there's that. Now I could say if the legs of the triangle are 5 units long, what are the coordinates of A and B? And with that, what we're doing is we're literally just saying, okay, I know that this point right here is 8, 2. But I'm saying the legs of the triangle, those are just going to be these two sides. So I'm saying this is 5 long, and I'm also saying that this is 5 long. So what I would be doing here is I would be subtracting 5 from the x. So this point would be 8 minus 5, and the y value stays the same. So 8 minus 5 would be a 3. So this is 3, 2. So my a, the coordinate for my a would be 3, 2. For the b, well, I'm moving the y value up 5. So this coordinate would be, 8. The x value stays the same, but the y value is going to be increasing by 5. So this would be 8, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So this is my b. This is the coordinate for my b point. So that's how we can find the coordinate points for my other 2 points if I know the lengths of these sides. Now, it doesn't have to be something like this. I could just as easily do this with a rectangle. And with rectangles, we've got, 2 sets of parallel sides. So I could do it with a shape like this. And say I've got, I know that the length of this side is 7 and this side is 4. Okay, let's go ahead and label those sides. I say that this side is 4, which means this side is also going to be 4. This side is 7, which means the length of this side is going to be 7. So what we can do is, as soon as I name one of these points, let's say that point A, let's say that this is at, say, 4, 2. And I know that it's not at 4 and 2 here. It's actually at 3 and 2. But for now, we're just going with a general shape. What happens then is this B point is literally 4 points. It's 4 bigger. So my B, the X is going to stay the same, but the Y is where I take that, I'm just saying, that's, for the Y, that's going to be that 2 plus the length of this side, which is going to be that 4. So this is going to be 2 plus 4, 6. For D, I'm going to leave myself a gap here because something more exotic is happening with C. But with D, with D, it's not the Y value that's changing. The Y value is staying the same. So that Y value is going to stay 2. So what's happening with that is that that 2 is staying the same, but my X value is increasing. And this time it's increasing by 7. So I take that original value and I'm adding, actually I should probably color code these so it's a little clearer what's happening. That's a 4 there. And here I'm adding 7. I got 4 plus 7 is going to be 11. Now, what's happening with the C is it is moving both the X value, it's moving the X value by 7, and it's moving the Y value by 4. So what's happening here is with this C, I'm taking a look at that my original point of 4 and 2, and then I'm moving my x value over 7, so this is going to be plus a 7. So 4 plus 7 is going to be 11 for my x value. My y value is moving up by 4, so I take where I was and I'm increasing that by 4. So that's plus 4. 2 plus 4 is going to be 6. So that's how I can find the values of that place. This C point is moving. I'm increasing both the x and the y. So I've added 7 to my x and 4 to the y. All right, that's all I've got for right now, and I will catch you in the next video.